Hey guys, this is 97 Lego Maniac with another custom minifigure showcase video, and this is another big one. Oh boy, yeah, I never planned this to be this big of a showcase video. It was originally going to be the Trinity, but no, I just had to make more because I just feel like to, I guess. So yeah, so here we have Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Lois Lane, the armored Batman suit, Lex Luthor, Alfred, and the Nightmare Batman suit. Now the figures I initially did not want to make like totally at all was Lois Lane, Alfred, and the Batman suit. I was like, then the Nightmare Batman, but I was like, the armored Batman suit, I would like to try and make my own because I was considering buying Josiah's sculpt because that sculpt is amazing, by the way. But I was like, I want to challenge myself and I want to try something. So I decided I'd take it upon myself to make my own armored Batman suit. And for Lex Luthor, I was like, what? He does have a pretty important presence in the film, even though I don't particularly agree with the actor's choice, but it seems like, judging from the trailers and some of the TV spots, like the Turkish Airlines, which is totally random and out of nowhere, he does seem like he can be a serious Lex Luthor at some couple of times. But, we just have to wait and see the movie. Apparently, there's rumors saying that he's great. Jesse Eisenberg was great as Luthor, so we'll just have to wait and see until the movie comes out. So, without further ado, let's continue with the showcase video. Starting with the Kryptonian himself, and that is Superman, and this figure really wasn't that hard. I mean, Lego did an amazing job with the torso, and I actually do like their hair, but I think what they should have done with the hair is maybe get rid of the sides. If they've done that, it would have been a perfect Superman hairpiece. Now, I like the Superman hairpiece a lot, and I do think it's accurate because it has that nice little widow's peak. Sorry for the paint. I was making Captain America Civil War figures. Here's some preview, like here's like Hawkeye, and my favorite one so far, Ant-Man, and he's looking pretty awesome. Oh yeah, and hey everyone. Okay, that's your Civil War tease, guys, and that showcase will come basically the day before the movie comes out. So Superman here, yeah, about the hairpiece. The only thing, it's a little bit too thick because in his hair it's more sleeked back, but even though this hair is a little bit too thick, I don't care because Lego's proportions are never that spot on anyway in real life, and plus the hairline's accurate, so that's what I like from him. And for the face, I basically, if you guys remember my Man of Steel figure, I basically swapped that head because I just like this head better, and I do think it portrays Henry Cavill well. I don't feel like painting a face. I think what Lego has here is perfect. It's just fine. And talk about what I painted. Basically, I didn't paint the torso, but I did paint the legs. Now, I did not use the dual molded legs because that was before I bought the Batwing that had the dual molded legs. But don't worry, I use the dual molded legs on Spider-Man, so that's sweet because I don't have to paint it. So, because the reason why I didn't went with dual molded legs anyway, because it has this like triangle pattern here that it just wouldn't work with it. So, and also I did paint the sides, and I'm gonna remove the cape. And for the cape here, I basically cut off like the little tip end parts, and I painted flesh, so that way it looks like the cape is connected to the suit and not just like wrapped around. And the back, it's the same, but you can see I painted all these blue lines, and I'll like move his arms, and I also painted the sides, so that way it's all consistent, and I really like how it turned out. I'm gonna paint sides from now on. Now, there's some figures that sometimes the sides wouldn't, the paint wouldn't really stay on that well. Well, I hit something, but for Superman it worked just fine, and same goes with Batman and the other figures. So, and we'll go over that. And yeah, here's his arm details, all good. Really a simple figure, and that's it for Superman, our Man of... Yeah, come on, get the cape back on. Yeah, that's it for Superman, the Man of Steel himself. And we can move on to our next figure. Our next minifigure, we have Batman himself, Batfleck. And to remove his grappling gun and his battering out of the way, here's Batman. I basically used the new 52 cowl, and I basically I sculpted like the chin strap. I also sculpted the thick eyebrows because I think he needs that, and it actually works pretty well. I like how it looks, and yeah, I think the new 52 cal, there needs to be something different with it because it seems like his cal's connected to like his cape in a way. So what I did, I'm gonna remove this so you can tell he looks really retarded. Yeah, because I painted the eyes like this. What I did for the cape, I sculpted like a thin layer Procreate. I'm gonna try carefully remove this thin layer Procreate around the cape, so that way it kind of looks like his cape is connected to the cowl. And I'm gonna rotate this figure around so you can see I did sculpt the belt on the back, but I did not do the same for my armored Batman. I mean, sorry, my Nightmare Batman. Just to let you guys know. So yeah, there's the cape here, and what I sculpted, I basically sculpted the belt. Obviously, I sculpted his gauntlets that even has that little spiky thingies. So yeah, and I did continue Lego's detail and pattern because I do think it's a nice pattern. But the thing is, it's not that well defined. If you look very, very closely, the dots are actually lazily painted, but you couldn't really tell because, like I said, silver or gunmetal mixed with gray, it just doesn't work because you can barely see it. And that's why if you just look at this figure, you can just tell that the figure is really shiny and reflective because of that. The main focus here is basically the black lines, and that's what kind of makes you. That's why I was very lazy with the gunmetal paint, because you can't even see it anyway. I mean, do you even notice before when I mentioned it? Do you guys even notice that gunmetal dots were uneven? I bet not. I guess not, because you couldn't tell. You couldn't even see it anyway. So yeah, that's Batman. And to go over his like accessories, here's his Batarang, which is basically normal Batarang just cut off. Shout out to my friend Andy for that idea, because I think it works a lot better for his Batarangs to to like represent that fat bat logo on his chest. He has a grappling hook. It's not like it's Legos. I could have made my own, but I didn't care. Yeah, it has like the strings, so that way you can like unravel it and stuff. And yeah, it's kind of a little bit tangled. I don't want to unravel everything. But yeah, but you get the idea. That's basically Batman, and he's probably the best figure in the showcase video. It's about goddamn time that we're getting Wonder Woman in a big screen. Yeah, Gal Gadot, when I first heard her announced as Wonder Woman, I didn't really care because I haven't seen Gal Gadot in other movies. I heard she was in the Fast and Furious movie. People say she's too skinny and stuff like that. I mean, is it really that? Do we really need to judge by just their skinny or like? I mean, sure. I like boobs and tits and ass also, but it shouldn't be like the main thing that we should judge by the look of the characters. I mean, shouldn't we judge their performance more? So yeah, besides, she looks awesome in this suit, so I don't know why people are all up in arms against her. And plus, she's a beautiful woman, and yeah, I would pork with her any day. Not as much as Daisy, really. I mean, Gal Gadot. I have like a list of females in my head. So, all right, enough of that. Here's basically it's Lego's figure, because Lego did an amazing job. I did plan on making like a 3D skirt for her, but the thing is, I even had like a template base like I made with paper. Like, here's what I cut up. When I cut up with fabric and try to make it happen, it failed. And I didn't feel like ordering from Kate Manus like their actual skirt so I can modify it, because I just don't think it will work well. And plus, these legs are amazing. Lego printed did so much printing on it. I explained it in my second channel when I list my top 10 favorite minifigures. Lego did an amazing job with this Wonder Woman figure. I mean, I basically kept everything from them except for their sword. I initially kept their sword at first, but when I was ordering stuff from Brick Warriors, when I ordered wings for Hawkgirl, Hawkman, and then some stuff for Vandal Savage, and a cold gun for Captain Cold, because I just remembered they had it. So, and I saw this sword and I was like, you know what, this could work for Wonder Woman. So this is a Brick Warrior sword, and you can check them out. They're really cool, and this is actually super accurate. And I basically give that a weathering effect. Same thing with the shield. I gave that a lot of weathering effect, and that's probably my favorite thing in this Wonder Woman figure is the shield. Everything else I painted, it's good, but not as badass as a shield. I also gave a lasso. It was really hard to glue this strand all together, and this is connected with the fabric, so when you remove whole entire torso, you see it connected. So yeah, and the only thing I didn't do a good job was connecting like painting the belt to make it seamless. Yeah, that's not the best. And for the hair, I basically repainted this into dark brown, like a much darker brown, so it's almost like black. I kept her face because I think Lego did a good job with the face, and I also like painted around the gauntlets. So because Lego did print it like gauntlets, but I decided to continue all around. Printed this little arm thing at the top, painted like peach, like a light flesh on basically repaint that and continue on top of it. And I also painted like the strap to make on top of her body, so that way it can continue. And I did painted the legs, all 4 sides, all awesome. And I really love what Lego did with this figure. And yeah, this Wonder Woman is amazing. Lego did a really good job, and basically all credit goes to Lego. I mean, I only like painted like 30% more of the work of what they already accomplished. Lois Lane really isn't going to take that long. What I basically did, I took Lego's torso and their face and their hair, because I do like this face, even though it's not, it's a rehash. I think it's fine for Amy Adams. What I did, I repainted the lips, because to pink, because I think it needs to be done. I repainted the white on her shirt, so that way it matches with the arms. This is not like the accurate jacket she wears, but you know, it's close enough, so I used that anyway. And I painted her tall boots, and I just gave her the camera. That's really it for Lois Lane. Why did I include her? Because, no, I did make a Lois Lane figure last year, but that was never showcased in the Man of Steel video. And plus, it looks terrible anyway, so let's just forget that figure even exists. Here's Lois Lane here anyway. I just feel like I just need to make her to pair up with the DCU universe, even though it's probably the forgettable minifigure in this showcase. I never wanted to make an Alfred figure, but since I had the extra Superman hairpiece, and since I only have like 7 figures, I was like, okay, maybe for the 8th figure it will be Alfred. I should point out, you guys noticed that I didn't make Doomsday at all, because apparently that isn't Doomsday's final form, and Doomsday looks like shit. So even though the CGI actually looks pretty decent, I'm not gonna make Doomsday. I heard he's gonna appear in future movies, maybe. So once he's in his final form, and I'll choose a form that looks best on him, and I'll probably make him. If he turns out awesome in Batman v Superman, I'll end up making him. So yeah, here's Alfred. Love his outfit. I actually like the fact that this is gonna be a different Alfred. So yeah, this Superman hairpiece definitely works for him, and you can see if you want to see the difference, the sides, you can see that Superman is like heavily sanded, so that way the sides don't poke out, but Alfred is not. So yeah, Jeremy Irons, like, he seems like a really good actor. I mean, I haven't seen him in other stuff, but he seems like he's gonna nail the role. I didn't want to paint like the dark red stripes or the gray stripes on him, but I decided to do it because I think it will just make him better, and it really did. Basically, the whole focus here is the stripings. So yeah, moving his arm, the stripes do continue all sides. Oh yeah, my minifigure has a crack. I don't know what happened, but it sucks. But yeah, so that's basically Alfred, and I really love this figure. And oh yeah, for the head, I did painted the head. The only thing I didn't paint was the eyes and the cheekbones, because this was actually a Tony Stark head. I just erased everything except for the eyes and the cheekbones, because if you look at Alfred, he kind of looks like old Tony Stark. So I was like, you know, it'll be funny if I use a Tony Stark head. So that's it for Alfred. Here we have Lex Luthor, and okay, I'm not gonna call any names, but I just want to say something, that this hair is the most accurate thing you can get for Lex Luthor. I heard people saying this hair is better. What are you talking about? This hair is like nowhere. This hair looks stupid on Lex Luthor. I do understand, like, see why, because there are some parts where the curves stick out, but it does not stick out all four sides like this. Nor is it this neat. His hair is kind of shaggy, so it makes no sense. And it doesn't stick out that much. So here's his hair, and it's basically the ginger hair I use for from the set, but I basically give it a brown weathering effect, and so that way it's kind of like dirty strawberry blondish color. I understand if people will go full brown with this because his hair on certain lightings do kind of change up. And I want to credit my friend Michael MGF. You guys know him as Ross and stuff, because this was not the first. This is actually the second version of Lex. I asked him for critique because I want critique from actual customizers, not from kids who think they're good at customizing. So he told me basically all the figures look good except for Lex. I have to change his face because it doesn't look like Jesse Eisenberg. And do I think this face looks like Jesse Eisenberg? Sure. I'll leave that up for you guys to decide because it's really hard to get likeness to actors correct, especially if it's nothing but a face, like eyes and a mouth. Like if they have a mustache or something, then obviously you can try and make it look like the character. But for people like Jesse Eisenberg, it's kind of hard to get their likeness, really. He also told me like the jacket is supposed to be much longer. If I have the first version of the jacket here, it's basically just like a really short jacket. And I thought when you make it longer, it's like a jacket, but just like this. But apparently, when I saw his work in progress, he basically made it a trench coat. So I was really confused. In some photos, I've seen Lex wearing a typical jacket. Then when I saw a poster of him, it did look like he's sort of wearing a trench coat. It's kind of like this. But I don't know. We haven't seen clear photos if it's a trench coat, sort of, or if it's like this. I have no idea. I might see the movie, and if in the movie, if it has his coat up to his knees, I will change it again. But I'm just gonna leave it like this because I just don't. I think it just looks better like this, personally. So yeah, I did paint it like So some people say like the torso is white. It's actually light tan, but I do understand why people think of it as white. I just think it just looks like light tan to me. And instead of like going over like the same exact Lego detail on this figure, I decided to just stick with Lego's torso. I think it's fine. And besides, he already has like white undershirt anyway, so it's like painting it white just wouldn't look good. So yeah, so that's what I did. That's basically it for Lex Luthor. I gave him this because Malcolm gave this to me. So I was like, you know what, it makes sense because Kryptonite, and he is like a scientist. So yeah, I painted the boots, painted all that. And that's it for Lex Luthor. And we can move on to the next fig. The armored Batman suit. Yeah, this minifigure, I was originally gonna plan buying Josiah's sculpt, and I have to say, Josiah's sculpt is a lot better than this crappy figure I made. Well, compared, alright, this is not the worst sculpted figure I made. My worst sculpted figure has to be Malekith from Thor: The Dark World. But, you know, I am practicing, and yeah, it does look kind of sloppy, but, you know, I think it's alright. But if you compare this with Josiah's sculpt, or even my friend Delta Customs, this figure is probably the worst armored Batman suit you would ever see. So yeah, basically what I did for the cowl is basically the new 52 cowl. It's the silver one. And I borrowed this head from my Dark Knight Batman. I'm redoing that figure, the Christian Bale Batman, and I basically took this head, just painted that. I didn't give him the stubble because it seems like in his armored Batman suit, his stubble, it's not even that defined. So yeah, here's the helmet. I basically sculpted around it, gave him the thick chin strap, a pointed nose. I sanded down the ears, and I basically wrapped this cheek area all around. And for the cape, it's just a Lego standard cape. And also, since this is from my Christian Bale Batman, I painted the mouth. I left that on, so that way you want to give him an aggressive facial expression, you can choose to do that. Here's his cape. I basically painted like this silver. Better look at it. This is all sculpted by me. Like the arms, I actually like how the arms turned out, and because the fact it's kind of round, but it's still blocky. And here's like the back. The back is apparently accurate because I base it off of Legos, and here's basically it's a lot of silver. It's silver like wash, and then I painted like a lot of black on it. I originally painted like the insides, like a part, like the inside in this suit's like gray, because it's basically his normal suit just with the armor on top, and his suit's gray, but the gray did not blend well with the silver, and black is the only option. So yeah, and the leg is also sculpted all around, and I did not sculpt the toes. I think that's not necessary. I sculpted like these little wings, the belt, all that sculpted, and yeah, even the strap. And I really like how this figure turned out. I just don't like painting with silver in general. That's why this figure might not be my best painted figure, but I don't care. I mean, just by itself, I think it looks fine, and even though if it's not the best in this showcase. So continuing with the next figure. How much do you guys want to bet that this suit is only gonna appear in like 5 minutes of the movie? Yeah, this is Nightmare Batman. This is apparently Batman in his visions, when he's having a nightmare, like Darkseid taking over, stuff like that. And when he's like chained up and Superman's coming down, it's like 50 Shades of Superman going on. So yeah, because it looks that kinky. So to go over, like, here's his goggles. It's basically the fabric, and to Procreate, I sculpted for the goggles. This is the same method I used for the Batman cowl. I'm going to remove this. What I did differently are the eyes. I didn't do the same thing with the eyes before. It's basically, it looks super messy, I know. And the stubble is probably the laziest one I've ever done. And it does, yeah, the stubble doesn't look that good. Now, to take off his head, here's the scarf. Basically, it's a fabric. And I have like the Procreate sculpted on to represent like the scarf he's wearing. And the trench coat is completely made by me. It's not Cape Madness. I do use Cape Madness designs, but it's more modified because Cape Madness, like the sides usually extend all the way up to like the middle of the torso. I don't like the way they do that, so I usually trim them into like this. So yeah, here's like, you can see by his eyes, he has some expression going on, because I think it looks better like this. Even though it's not going to do that in the movie. I mean, he's not Deadpool or Spider-Man Civil War. So yeah, and I did sculpt like the gauntlets like always. And what I did, I used fabric to like wrap like some sort of strapping around it. And I did sculpt the belt, and you can see all the painted details here. He has like sculpted knee pads. And I'm gonna remove this side of the trench coat. It has like a holster. I think it's a gun holster or something. I have no idea. And he doesn't have anything on this side, the leg. If I can, yeah, he doesn't have that on the side of the leg. And the details do continue all 4 sides of the leg, like all my other figures, even if they're wearing a thick trench coat like this. So that's the last figure, guys, and hope you guys enjoyed this showcase video. And it's time to conclude it.
Man won't kill God. The devil will do it.
Oh, hell no, you get out of here. That's all the time I have, guys, so thank you guys for watching, and I can't wait for the movie, really. I mean, this is the second installment for the DCU, and as much as I love Marvel, it's time for DC to you know, step up and challenge Marvel, so that way they can be also so good as well. I mean, it's awesome to see that the fact that we're going to get a Justice League movie, and even if Man of Steel wasn't that great, comparing to the same, according to most people, I thought it was decent. I thought it was a good movie, not particularly the best movie in the world, but you know, it's still enjoyable. I love that movie, and you know, I'm really excited for the film. And Ben Affleck looks like he's going to be the greatest Batman. I mean, as much as I love Christian Bale, Ben Affleck seems like he's going to be the iconic one. So yeah, and Wonder Woman finally in the movie, thank goodness. It's about damn time. So yeah, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, I'm gonna see it, and I'm gonna have a good time. Luckily, I've been avoiding a lot of spoilers, and yeah, that's it, and I'll see you guys later.
Diane told me that you suck in bed. Lois said Diane is wrong.